Hello and welcome back to Watch Talk. As I said in my previous video, today I'm going to be dismantling this watch movement. This watch was supplied by the TZ online watch school. TimeZone Level 1 watch school. So it's a basic movement. It's a Sellita SW210-1. It's apparently a clone of the ETA 2801-2. It's just a basic standard movement. It is nothing special. It is, I've got a little dot there so I can get the center. It is nice looking watch. I've had this apart before. It is manual wind movement, no complications apart from, I suppose if you want to call it a complication, the it has a hacking lever in it, or stop lever, so the center, so the second stop. It's a 800 beats per hour movement. It is a 42-hour power reserve and 19 joules. Pretty stock standard, manual wind, nothing really special about it. It's actually a really nice, when I pull it apart you'll have a look, it's actually a really nice looking movement. I did have some, I'll just put that there for the second. I did also, and I've showed you these before, I did have this Chinese movement here that I bought. That was an absolute pain to get back together. I don't think I'm going to pull that one apart again, because I think if I pull that again I'll probably throw it in the bin. Maybe I will pull it apart just for something to do. This one here's a good movement, easy to pull apart, easy to put back together. Like I said, manual wind, no automatic movement, brilliant movement. Now you've probably noticed why there's no crown in there. It's because when I pulled it apart, one of the first times I pulled it apart, I measured twice, cut once. I measured about 4 times, cut once and cut it wrong. Can't believe I did that. I cut the stem too short, so I can't have the stem in there. What I did is I measured it, and as I measured, I've read and seen the videos how to do it. I measured using my vernier scale, and I measured the crown, and I forgot for some silly reason that this is a waterproof case, water resistant case, I don't know. Screw down crown. I didn't allow for the screw down crown. I just measured it so when it clicked in, it fitted flush. I suppose if I really want to, I can probably take out that unscrew that that little thread in there, then it'll fish. But anyway, I've ordered a stem extender, so that's coming. So once I get that, I'll attach that one. But that's why it's out. The watch was running. It's not running anymore because it's obviously running out of power. But you can see it is ticking away a little bit. Flip her over. There's not much power in it, if any at all. But beautiful movement. Like I said, 42-hour power reserve. I had it on the time grapher as well. The stats on this, to be honest, is awesome. Like I had it running within, chronometer specs. Had 0 errors and 0 beat error, and rates was only a few seconds here, a few seconds there. It's really good movement. I don't know how robust it will be for everyday wear. Case is awesome. It's very, I won't say reminiscent, but very similar to it's got the hallmarks of a Rolex case in the style. More of a the edge is polished. The top and the lugs, I am taping on an iPhone, so I don't know what the quality's like. It's pretty crap probably, but anyway. Brushed. Let me get my little pointer. These edges are brushed. These are highly polished. Bezel is a flat, polished bezel. Very reminiscent of the Explorer 1. Probably about the same size as well, I think. Clear case back. very nice. I mean, the movement isn't like, I'm not going to turn around and lie and say it's an awesome looking movement. It's, you know, it is a nice looking movement. It's nothing, you're not really special. I mean, it probably looks nicer than, oh, I am going to get some criticism now. Probably looks nicer than a Seiko movement, you know, the few that I've seen. It's actually, if this plate was actually, you know, engine turned or had some nice, you know, engraving on it, it would look absolutely amazing. It would be nice. I wish it'd be nice if there was an option we could get one that was prettier. But it's a nice look at that. It's a nice looking movement. Like, apart from the glare that I'm getting from this light, but it's actually, you know, it's not bad. I'll just shake it a bit and you'll get a bit of movement because it's probably a little bit of, it's just a hairspring. But it's actually quite pretty. Like I said, I chose these. Easy. I just chose that strap. It's actually quite a nice looking watch. It came with a black dial and a white dial. I chose to put the black dial on because I think it just looks a bit more sporty. It came with a few different sets of hands. It had just normal baton hands. I think they are just straight hands, both in silver and in gold. I don't know what the gold is. This one's more of an arrow. You can probably see they do start off narrower and widen up. Quite nice. Red second hands, looks a bit sporty. It's actually quite a nice looking watch. You know, it's not bad. So anyway, enough of that. And I've got my little blue tack. I've got my little Rodico here, just so I can be in the center of the screen, or just about the center of the screen. Is that going to be right, or do I need to come back a little bit more? There you go. Let me just put the movement holder there. Yeah, that's going to be right. Okay. So I'll open up the back of that and we will start disassembling this watch. Now, I'm not going to do a full clean on it because I've already had it disassembled. I've already had it cleaned. And, you know, I'm just going to pull it apart and then pull it back together again, just so you can have a look. Just so people out there, if they want to start ripping watches apart, just not to be scared, not to be afraid of these things. They're just mechanical machines. Got my watch ball. Undo the back of that. That comes off pretty straightforward. To reveal the movement. Remember that. Right now, if I just sit down, I should put a marker with them. Anyway, so what will I do? I'll get my goggles on. Right, this hasn't got any screws on the. Hasn't got any screws on the to hold the movement. It's just held in the case by this little plastic retaining spring that'll just pop straight off like it did, like that. Nothing special, just a little retaining plastic nylon retaining ring that comes off, and then the movement would just pop straight out. Now, rather than just drop the movement out, I will use I know that I've said I don't really like using these, but in this circumstance I will put it on there, turn it over, and hey presto, it comes out. I'll just chuck that ring in there. I'll just chuck the ring in there, and I will screw the case back on, just so nothing goes walkabout, and I'll just sit and bore you to tears for the next 5 or 10 seconds until I get this on. But you know, as you can see, it's let me just turn it around just so you can get a bit of a view. It's a nice looking movement, you know. It works well. Like I said, I timed it. It kept really good time. You know, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. It's a Swiss movement, so you expect it to be, you know, at some sort of level. But you know, it's always hard with these things what you're gonna get. But okay, now we'll rip the hands off, and we will find my piece of plastic here, which I can't find it as I can. Piece of plastic and my nice Horotech hand removers. Hey, just get all comfortable, chuck that on. I don't like using the those dial protectors, because I tend to find my logic tells me if you put the dial protector, you're protecting the dial, fair enough, I get that. But you're gonna probably scratch the back of the bottom of the hands. So I think we will just go underneath and pull them off like so. I reckon they will come off. Yep. Okay. We put that over there. Put my little. I would, like I said before, and I was talking about tools, I would invest in a decent set of these tools. They're really nicely polished. The Horotech ones, really, really good. Really happy with them. You know, the Bergeron ones are nice as well, but I think these ones, the only reason I bought those is because they were probably a little bit cheaper. That's the only reason I would have bought them. Not for any other particular reason. Now the hands I will put away. Sorry, I'm fluffing around here, aren't I? I'll just put the hands away with it. So it's quite good. They give you 3 sets of hands with this movement. So it was actually quite nice. But the gold hands and the silver hands just really didn't I don't know, didn't do it for me. So I will and the actually I will show you these because it's actually quite fun. Fun. I don't know about fun. Okay. Okay, we've got them. Yep. Okay. This black hand was really nice. I actually like this black hand, but it's too long. I'll just get these other hands off. You know, look at it. It came with the set, right? Look at this. Look at that. It hangs off probably about 3 or 4 millimeters. It hangs off the movement. Black hands. Gold ones, the gold ones look nice. You know, they're okay, but gold not my thing. And silver ones, silver straw, they got a little bit of an error, but these black ones were really, you know, captured my eye. So I went with those. So let me just put these away before I lose them, like that. Haven't pulled a watch apart for a couple of weeks now, so I'm sure my skill level is going to be again fell on the ground. That's what you want, isn't it? I think my skill level is going to be a little bit ordinary, and I will grab that hand. Oops, that's the gold hand. I will grab that hand that fell on the ground because it's probably the one I need the most. Let me just go for a bit of a dig around. Yep, there we are. Okay. Whew, saved. All right, that's that there. Okay. Now take the dial. I'll show you this other dial that they gave you as well. I mean, to be honest, I really did enjoy doing that level 1 course. It was actually the book they gave you, and I'll get the book out. I'll show you the book they give you. I mean, they don't give you the book. It's in a PDF. But, you know, anyway, I can't get a good... Well, if I zoom out, maybe, eh? There you go. You know, you can print that off, PDF. It's about... How thick is it? It's about that thick. Gives you, you know, step-by-step instructions on step-by-step, so I had to pull it apart, put it back together. Comes with 2 dials. Well, you don't do that. White dial, quite nice. Or the black dial, exactly the same, except white and black. You know, still I think with the white dial, the black hands would look really nice on that. But for me, the black dial sort of did it. Get a bit of crud off that. Right now, we have a look. And let me just zoom you in here, just so we can. Now, obviously these videos aren't going to teach you a whole lot because, you know, I'm not a watchmaker, right? And But it's just going to give you an insight on that, you know, you too can do it. You know, you don't have to be scared. You know, you don't have to think that, oh, gee, I've got really no skills. As long as you've got an understanding about how mechanical things work, or are willing to learn how mechanical things work, and you have an interest, you'll be okay. Now, just with this here, the dial feet are held on, where are they? Here we are. Oops, if I just get it in focus here, where are we? Here. Right. You can see the dial feet. There's just this little, I think it's an ETA proprietary, well, there's not an ETA, there's a Sellita movement. And yeah, it's like a little, it sits on a pivot, it just sort of swings out, and then it just, it's like a cam lock, I suppose. It locks onto the dial feet there to get the dial off, just puts a bit of a tension, so it's not a screw-in one like, you know, some of the other movements are screw-in. So you just unwind that a little bit. There's two of these. The one on the other side is a bit of a pain to get off, but you know, like I said before, patience. This watch, I won't call it watchmaking because I'm not professing to be a watchmaker by any means, but watch tinkering, let's say, will definitely test your patience. So turn it over, dial just comes straight off, and there is a, let's just put that aside. There is another, also a little ring that goes on there as well. I'll leave that ring on there. It comes off. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I'll leave that on there because I'm too lazy to take it off, I suppose. Put it in some watch paper, put it away. You can always put it on this thing here. I'll show you that because, you know, I showed that in the other video. You know, you can just get your watch, not your watch, get your dial, put on one of these, you know, there. And if you line it up, it'll fall through the holes. Then you just put one of those little covers on it. And you can put one of these little covers on it, proper covers on it, so it just doesn't get all dusty and dirty and damaged. So that's that there. And I'm just going to be careful because the black. I don't want to really touch that with the tweezers, because my luck, although they are brass tweezers, my luck, I will put a scratch in it. And that will really annoy me. Okay, so that's the dials. Put them away. Put them in this little safe little box with the hands. This little, it's actually where it came from. You know, when I got it delivered, it came in this little plastic box. So put that away. Out of mind, out of sight. Right. Let's see if I've got this centered. I'm sorry, I'm just a bit. Okay. All right. So I don't need that. Now we will put. I don't know whether I should put the movement in this plastic one or put it in this Levin one. I'll try the Levin one, why not? Now what I will do is I'll push, I'll drop the movement first. That's what you got to do. You got to drop the movement. And like some people have said, if you don't drop a movement, then I'll just push those dial feet in a little bit just so they don't. Oops. Another thing I just noticed as well. So I just push those dial feet clamps, I suppose, just so they don't get in the way of the movement holder. Push them in, that's okay. They'll come out later. And if you've just noticed there as well, is it in the camera view? Just out of view. Here we go. As I turned the movement upside down, that fell off. That is the hour wheel, and I'll show you where that lives as well. That hour wheel just sits on top of the on there, and that obviously the hour wheel gets put onto that. So that hour wheel was just loose like that. Grab my movement tray and I'll just chuck that in there. All right, and then we'll put it in the movement holder. That'll be a lot better. So I haven't used this. I mean, I've used this movement holder for other movements, but I haven't used it for this particular movement. Let's just see if it's gonna be any good. If not, I'll chuck it in the Bergeron one. What's it like? Actually, it was not that centered now. Yep. Okay, so you're not gonna get high level macro here, but you're gonna get an idea. All right, so I'll put that one aside. Just cleaning my bench as I go because I don't want too much stuff out, because too much stuff gives me too much grief. Okay, so first thing we'll start with is we'll take apart. I can't believe it's still ticking. You know, there's should be no power in there. It's been this movement's been sitting. This movement's been sitting in that box for you know a month. So what we'll do first is we'll take off this cover plate, which I think is called the minute wheel. I think they call it the minute wheel bridge. I mean, it's more like of a little plate or cover, but it does hold that minute wheel there down. Shall we take that off first? Yeah, let's take that off first. Okay, so just make sure we've got the right size screw job. I don't want to. That one should be okay, but I'll just go down a size. Just go down a size, hey? Yep. Use the black one, which is the 1 mil. Is it 1 mil? 1 mil. I just wonder whether all my fingers are getting in the way. What's happening there? Is it? I'll just stand up and have a look. So, oh yeah, my fingers will be getting in the way a little bit, but anyway, it is what it is. So. Okay, I haven't undone it enough, and I haven't, like I said, I haven't played with these watches for a few weeks, so my everything's a bit rusty. Movement hole. There's parts trays are awesome. Now, I will try to keep everything together. So I'm not good enough, obviously, to know which screw is for what, apart from a few obvious ones, but no. So this will cover, or they call it the minute wheel bridge, I think the book says, but you know, this cover for the minute wheel, put it in there as well. Then this is the minute wheel, which obviously is driven by the cannon pinion, and then there's like a double wheel. I think I remember reading once that wheels have gears and pinions have leaves. So that's the way you remember it. And the leaves on the pinions drive the teeth or the gears on the wheels. So this one, it's got a double. Okay, that's obviously the minute wheel. And then it's got a little gear on it as well. That little gear there drives the hour wheel. So as you got the hour wheel here, let's get it back. So it drives that, sits there like that. Whoops. Now I just knock myself out of focus. Okay, so got the hour wheel off, minute wheel, put that in there as well. And then you've got this, and I'll bring it up to have a look because it's quite small. You've got this little wheel here. Where is it? There you are, this little wheel here. It's called, it's one of the setting wheels. I think they call it the intermediate. I think it's called the intermediate setting wheel. It's a really small wheel. Now the reason I take that out and put it in the same compartment is because if you turn this movement over, that is going to fall out. See, it just falls out. And it's just good to know. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you've ripped apart, you know, the watch a few times to know where it goes. But anyway, I like to keep it all together. That way I don't forget to put anything on. That little intermediate setting wheel is chamfered on one side. So, well, let's just use a bit of pithwood, right? So you've got the gear there. It's chamfered on one of the sides, so that the corner's been broken. You know, the corner's been broken or cut, and that's just so it engages with the that'll engage with that minute wheel. And that's all part of the keyless works, which is this area here, which is obviously keyless because you don't want the key, use the crown, right? And that when you pull the crown out, it pushes that forward, and that gear, this gear engages with the minute wheel and changes the time. Now what I will do, and I know that I'm sort of jumping backwards, and honestly, to rip apart a movement like this should take you about, you know, I don't know, 10 minutes. But it's probably going to take me an hour because I want to explain some things as well. I mean, like I said, I'm not a watchmaker. I'm just a regular guy that just understands, well, I think I understand mechanics and understand how things work. I've always been intrigued from a very young age, like I said. Always been intrigued on how things work. You're probably thinking, what's this guy fluffing around for? But I'm taking it. I put the crown away because remember I said I overcut the crown. I want to take the crown out because I want to take it out of its little. I want to put it into the watch, and this will become apparent once I get my hands on this stupid thing. The reason I want that is because I want to put it in the watch because when I let down. Well, a couple of reasons I like keeping the crown in this as long as possible. One reason is so it's easier to maneuver the watch. So just find it easier to maneuver the watch with the, because you grab it from the. Oh, let me just grab this intermediate setting wheel before I do lose it. Okay, and that'll probably fall off as well. This is the this here is the Cannon pinion. Cannon pinion in this particular model, or particular movement I should say, is actually connected. Can I just get it up closer? Where is it? Yeah. It's not going to focus, is it? There it is. Yeah, you see the Cannon pinion is actually, be very careful, I don't stuff it up. See, the Cannon pinion is actually on that Cannon pinion. It's a Cannon pinion drive wheel. It just snap fits on that as well, rather than the Cannon pinion friction fitting on that center wheel. So take that off now because that'll fall off when I grab it. So I put it all together in the same, go all in the same compartment, just so you don't not fluffing around. Anyway, nothing else is going to fall out of that movement at the moment, except the movement itself. All right, let me just get my glasses on properly, my goggles on. I know people normally grab this with tweezers and act really professional, but we're not. Right, so put the winding stem back in there, and just turn it a little bit, just to engage all those, just to engage your rolling, because it has to go, that stem has to go through that winding pinion and the clutch. And the clutch is actually, because it's obviously a square, it's actually a square, the stem's got a square end, it's got to fit in there, so you don't want to force it too much or else you're going to muck all this stuff up. So, and I just find it easier, like I said, I like having the stem and the crown in there because it's just easier to handle the watch, flip it over, and it's going to come in. Come in really useful when we wind down that, take the power out of that the mainspring barrel. But anyway, moving on. So we've taken apart all the motion works, and the motion works basically consists of all the stuff that we as watch people see. The motion works is obviously everything that controls the movement of the hands. So I took the hands and the dial off, and the motion works, which obviously sits in there, was the Cannon pinion, the drive wheel, the minute wheel, the intermediate setting lever, and that's all out in a little compartment, all done. So that's about everything. Like I said, some people like taking out this keyless works now. I don't, because it doesn't really affect anything, and it's just easier to take out the power in the mainspring. So that's everything on this side done at the moment. Just be really careful with this as well, because you have the I think it's the fourth wheel where the seconds hand goes onto. It's very, very thin. You don't want to drop it too much or drop it at all and bend that or break that. So we just pick it up using the winding crown stem. Pop it in that movement. Is that gonna fit nicely in there, or is it not? Actually, it looks like it is gonna fit really nicely in there. Like I said, I like this one here. This movement holder just seems really, really happy with it, I must say. Right, now